Hi, I'm Cohen.
Hi, I'm Oliver.
Hi, I'm Will, and we want to be CoSpaces ambassadors.
I'm Oliver, and I would like to be a CoSpace ambassador because it's a simple program for all ages and learning groups. It can be used for learning or simply expressing your creativity with making your own world. Like anyone who uses this program, it can be difficult, but with practice and help from others, you can learn more and more. Just the other day, I started to go deeper into variables and functions. Just like Cohen and Will, I enjoy making minigames. Personally, I like to make racing games and puzzles. And that's why I would like to be a CoSpace ambassador.
I want to be a CoSpaces ambassador because the website can help you unleash your creativity in AR and with another world in VR. There's also lots of items you can bring in because you can bring in items from Tinkercad and other ones from Google Poly. I started with no experience. Luckily, CoSpaces was simple enough that I could learn it and challenging enough that I still had lots of fun. Personally, with my friends, I like to make lots of little mini games such as dungeon crawlers and puzzles. That's why I want to be a CoSpaces ambassador.
I would like to be a CoSpace ambassador because CoSpaces is a great learning opportunity, not just for me, but for others. Me, Will, and Oliver will be able to teach others how to code and make their own games. Coding is a thing I have been interested in for a long time, so becoming a CoSpace ambassador would be really cool.
Hey guys, my name is Oliver, and I'm going to be doing a short lesson on physics in CoSpaces. With something as simple as physics, you can create something like bowling. Part of the physics is also map design, especially if you're using something such as a ball, which can roll in any direction at any time. Almost a strike. I suck at bowling. Anyways, I'll start a new CoSpace. And I'm going to import something. Let's get not a baby. I will import a ball. Now this ball, I can name it ball. You're going to want to click on the physics. Press add physics. You're going to see a bunch of different things up, and it might be a little, it's a little confusing. But if you want the ball to roll, you can just put down your physics, your friction all the way, and it'll roll. But if you want it to be kind of in one place, you can turn up the friction. You don't really have to mess with any of this. You're gonna want precise collision on if you don't already have that on, and I'll get to some of this other stuff later. But for now, you have a ball. Real quick, I'm gonna left click or on the trackpad, double click, and go to camera and change to walk. This gives me the ability to move around using the arrow or WASD. You can add physics to the cube, turn down your friction, or if you want the cube to also be floating, you can set static, which basically freezes it in place and makes it it freezes it in place but keeps its physics and nothing will be able to pass through it, as you can see. Now if I tilt the cube very slightly, the ball will roll. This is due to the zero friction and the static of the cube. Now that's the very, very early basics. But if you want to make something like bowling, you'll need a bit more code. You will need code. There is currently no code. So for bowling, you're probably going to want to start with the code and not map design. If desired, you can start with map design, but it's easier to start with the code. So first things first, you want to grab the bowling ball. To enable grabbing the bowling ball, you're simply wanting to attach the ball to the camera. If you bring a cube in, using CoBlocks, name it something like hand. Now, you can attach the hand, shrink it down a little bit, attach the hand to the camera. You do this by left-clicking, press attach, press this little menu here with the 3 dots and 3 lines, and click on your camera. that attaches them together so that wherever the camera looks, the cube will look. Now right now it looks a little messed up because there's just a cube. It's a little confusing, but it'll make sense later. By the way, you can press S to turn off snapping so it's not in chunks and it's smooth. Now, you're going to want to left click on your ball, press use in CoBlocks. This is important because when you press use in CoBlocks, it allows it to be used in this area of code. Now I'm going to try to keep it simple, but you can put a when ball is clicked, you can also search it. Attach ball slot bottom, the bottom of the ball, to hand slot top. Boom. If you want the ball to be attached, yet it still stays in the air, you're going to want to use that thing that I used on the cube before. Static. Static, as I explained, basically makes it so it still has physics, but it can float in the air and collide with anything. When ball is clicked, attach ball slot bottom to hand slot top and set static on. Now this basically makes it so it attaches the ball. Pretty straightforward. Now you're going to want to make an option to throw your ball. So what you're going to want to do is add another block. Yeah. Drag it inside of the when clicked, which what it's basically doing is you can only throw the ball when it's clicked. Or you can only throw the ball once it's pressed. Now you can custom set your key to whatever you want. I like to use E because it's close to the WASD controls. And I'm going to do down so you can't just press it and throw it forever. When it's pressed, set static off. Now what this does is when you grab it and press E, it drops it. It turns the static off, but it's still attached. So let's add a detach. I can't spell. Detach ball from parent. Now it detaches and it sets statics off, and we just need to push with physics. So now, and here's the tricky part. It's always turning, or it's never turning towards where you want it to be. So if you just simply add push forward, let's set it to 10. It can go in any direction because it's in any direction from where you're holding it. So if I do it from here, it'll go behind me. But you can get around this by putting a turn to, or turn to look at, turn ball to look at. Double click on your camera and using CoBlocks. You're going to be using that the most. Turn ball to look at camera, and now because the ball is turning towards the camera, it's facing forward. So you're going to want to push the ball backwards with velocity 10. Now what this does is now when you press E, it just pushes it forward. It's a little much, but it's the stepping stones into creating a very simple physics-based game. And what I just did right now is if you click on material, you can turn the opacity so you can't see that cube thing. So now when you click on your ball, you're holding it in your hand and you can press your custom key, which I have E, and it throws your ball. Now that's as far as I'm going to get into this, but if you want to create something such as this bowling alley, you're going to have to take some time into dragging blocks in and turning them in the right position so that it can roll. Just like that. And you just keep designing until you get like the perfect model, kind of like this. And as you can see, I'm using the same code script to simply throw the ball and hit the pins. If you want to add pins into it, all you have to do is you can get a 3D model you can download, or you can search in here. And it's so easy. You just press physics and turn up your friction a little bit so they can fall over. And yeah, that's my simple little tutorial. And yeah, you can just work on map design later, but this is kind of the basic, making a physics-based game. Or if you want to you can turn this into anything. You can make baseball or basketball. Yep, thank you for listening.
Alright, so today I'm going to be showing you how to very simply use operators to make it so your game is new and fresh every time you play it. It's really simple for operators. Basically, I'm just going to open a new code blocks and I'm going to click on transform. I'm just going to get the first code block I see, and as you can see, move Grinch 1 meter forward in 1 second. Now scroll down to operators, get past logic, and when you hit math, select random number. Now you should input that to where you would select the meters. Now let's just say it's random number from 1, 2, 3. So basically, from here, after you have this, you can go crazy, do whatever you want, make it completely random. I already have some operators input, so I'm just going to leave that out. But as you can see, if I click here, I have an operator here, and I have an operator here to make it random every time. So now when I click play, one time, maybe the Grinch will catch me off the bat like he did there. But then the next time, maybe I'll escape. Actually, this time, he went really far, even further than usual. So as you can see, it's 100% random, and it makes it so your game has a lot of replayability. That's all.
Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial on collision. So basically what you're going to do is go into your library, grab an item. I'm just going to use a box for this one. It could technically be anything. And what I'm going to do is make this box, I'm going to flatten it out and just make it a bit wider. So, and you have to call this box whatever you want. I'm going to call it trigger for now. And yeah, in CoBlocks. So, and what I'm also going to do is use my camera in CoBlocks, which it already is, and I'm just going to move the speed up a bit. So in your code, that's just extra, you'll need to go into events, and then when in collision, when item collides with item. So here I'm just going to do when camera collides with trigger, something's gonna happen. It can technically be anything, so I'll just do something simple like reset scene. Let's just test it out. Now resets the scene. So, but this is limited, and technically when you do this, you can only have one item. So, like, you can't put multiple triggers because it just cancels out. So, you're just gonna delete that. And we're gonna bring in another trigger. So I'll just duplicate this one and move it back. Maybe make it a bit easier to see in material. Just so, yeah. So in your code, I'm gonna go with collision again. Instead of going when item collides with item, we're gonna go when item collides with another item, like right there. So to do this, you're gonna need an if-then block in the if section, the control. In the item section, and just item something. Actually, I'm gonna put it right in that one. 2 minutes left. And another item block in data. And I kind of messed that up a bit. Just why I gotta put it in there. Then you change the middle one to equals. So this one's if another item equals camera, or it's not going to be camera because your camera's up here, so it's got to be your trigger. So I'll just do trigger for the first one and test it. Trigger 1. Okay, which one's trigger? I might have messed up.
You got to do a consequence.
Oh yeah, I have to do a consequence, sorry. I'll just do reset scene again. Yeah, it works. So then this way you can do multiple consequences. So if you duplicate it, you can do trigger 2 or trigger 1 in this case. So you have multiple collisions type things. So this one works. And that one works. And that's pretty much it.